Welcome back to Ultimate Combat Radio, Sports Radio 1280 and 104.7 The Zone.
Welcome back to Ultimate Combat Radio. Mike Stidham here, talking some mixed martial arts, and we were going to cut Jeff Monson loose, but we decided not to. We got more we want to talk about, and I know we neglected to mention you've got a website, Jeff.
Yeah, it's www.jeffmonson.com.
And what is on the website?
There's a place, I blog on there. It's connected to my Facebook and connected to my Twitter. I'm just learning all this technology stuff because I've had to get the crash course, so I'm getting better at it. But I do respond to emails. You can email me on there. You can set up a seminar on there. Comments. It's got got a page where I send up pictures and videos and all that stuff, and some of it's still in the works, but I do respond to emails and stuff.
Good. Okay. Well, I wanted to make sure because I promised Adolf that we'd make sure to mention your Facebook page. It's Facebook Snowman Monson.
Yeah, there's like 10 of them out there, and that one's actually me, Snowman Monson.
Are there some that imitate you? They're not you, or they're trying to?
Yeah, there's like 10 of them.
Oh, that's funny.
Jeff, would you
one other thing, and then you've got a Twitter account. It's cagefighter360.net, correct?
Or my Twitter's just at Jeff Monson.
Okay, all right, and then I got you.
Jeff,
and then Jeff can
you.
be reached for fights and seminars through those means, correct?
Right. Yeah.
So now you're not going to be able to be fighting for a little while because you're contracted with Strikeforce. You're not going to be fighting elsewhere, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Now, with you signing with Strikeforce, were you at that fighter summit that just happened?
I was not.
Oh, you weren't? Okay, because
No.
you mentioned the tweet, having to tweet or whatever, and I know Dana White's real big on making all the fighters tweet, and he's paying bonuses and everything for the best tweeters.
I didn't even know that. Yeah.
Is that kind of? Do you normally do that? Is that you try to?
I've been tweeting for about 3 weeks. I'd never tweeted in my life before. I was just like, really? Someone wants to know I'm going to the grocery store or like doing this kind of stuff, and it's like, well, I guess once you get it, and like it's a good way to interact. And the one thing I gotta say about MMA is like how many you have the best fighters in the world, and you can go you go to my gym, you got Thiago Silva,
right.
You got Thiago Alves, you got like the top guys, Mike Brown, you got the top guys in the world, and you can go to the gym, sign up, and do the classes, and you're right next to them. You
They're
talk
so
to them,
accessible,
train with
yeah.
them. Now, how many other, not just our gym, that's all over the United States. How many other sport you can't, sign up to do a baseball clinic and you're not going to be with,
Jeter.
Yeah, no. So that's a good thing about MMA.
So let's talk a little bit about your team. You're training with the America Top Team, correct?
Yeah.
And then there's a big shakeup there recently.
Yeah, we had some guys leave. We had Jay-Z leave and George Santiago. As a matter of fact, I just saw George last night at a gas station. But these guys are my friends, and they just, they thought they had better opportunities somewhere else. And like I say, sometimes, it's addition by subtraction because you have a guy, kind of his mind elsewhere. I think he's got better opportunities somewhere else. And, you want to train with the guys that really want to be there and all that. And nothing against those guys, but if you're not 100%, then be where you're going to put out 100%. So, we got a lot of tough. I mean, we got guys every week coming in from Brazil we got 40 black belts in there at any given time on a night.
Wow.
One night, it's like I get submitted by guys I don't even never heard of or seen before.
I've always wondered how people end up at the big gyms like the American Top Team or the, you hear these guys that they're part of a team in these huge academies or whatever. How does that happen? Did somebody like me end up in a gym? Like, do you guys invite them to come out, or do they just?
Guys get invited, or guys just they meet. Like, let's say doing a seminar or something like that, and some guys here in Utah are going, hey, I really want to come out there and train, and they let the guys train there with the pros, if they're at a level for free. If you want to come out and train with those guys and whatever, and then if it works good and they like it and they go, hey, I want to train here and stuff like that, there's no tryout. If you are willing to put in the effort, they want guys who want to be there and are going to put out. And if you are, then you can join. So it's not we don't have it's not like the old where I think like Ken Shamrock put him through the hill and all that crazy stuff. It's not like that.
Well, Joe, you actually belong to a pretty good gym, buddy.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm recruiting them here.
That's how that happened.
Yeah.
You build a bag stand for one, and then they let
And the
you
people come. Yeah, if you build it, they will come. Right?
All right. Well, once again, we're gonna let Jeff go train. He's heading up to Mushin, going to get a little training in tonight. So I'm glad you
He's in
guys
good
are gonna get that.
hands.
You guys are gonna love it. So once again, thanks for coming on the show, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for
All
having
right,
me.
good stuff. Once again, UFC superstar and grappling God, really, Jeff Monson on the program here tonight. Really, really cool. Let's move on. We're going to talk a little bit about UFC that my friend Joe here knows so much about. But once again, Joe, let's give out the studio lines in case somebody wants to talk about UFC with you.
You want me to give them out, or are you doing it?
Go ahead, buddy.
You can call them 405 or 670-1280, or you can text them the word zone to 53318, followed by your question or message or whatever you want to tell us.
Well, I'm hoping, Joe, that you have something super controversial to bring up that they might want to call in and talk to you about. Now, if they do, I'm going to give them some passes to the movie Hangover 2. We got some sneak preview passes to give out to that. In fact, we got a bunch of swag we're going to give away tonight at the fights. We got shot glasses and T-shirts and hot-looking ladies' tank tops that say Hangover 2 on them.
You mean the biggest movie of the summer, right?
The blockbuster movie of the summer. We're going to be giving those out at the Ultimate Combat.
And it's actually going to go down?
It's going down.
You heard about the controversy with the Tyson tattoo?
Yeah. No. It was
it's trademarked.
Copyrighted or trademarked.
Yeah.
The tattoo.
So they were going to push the movie back because they have the tattoo without the permission.
The guy that did the actual tattoo trademarked it, and he's trying to sue him for.
I just followed the drinking and the women part.
Well, you know, the guy that
matters.
loses his tooth in the first one,
Yeah.
he ends up with the Mike Tyson tattoo on his face in the second one.
Oh, that's
so then
awesome.
It's trademarked, and the guy's trying to sue him or whatever.
Which is stupid.
But though, I mean,
that's dumb.
Yeah, see?
Anything for a buck, right?
That is kind of funny. Well, Joe, what's going on in the UFC, man?
all right, a couple just little news things. They are going to change to 5-round non-title fights for non-title main events and other important fights, number one contender fights. They're going to change it to 5 rounds to 3.
Is it going to be all number one contender fights, or are they going to sporadically?
I don't think they know yet. I think they're still trying to work it out.
Yeah, and it's for important fights to where they don't want to draw.
Who's going to deem what's important, what's not?
Mr. White himself, I'm sure.
Dana White.
Now, I actually read an interview with Jeff Monson on this very topic, and he thought that kind of takes away from some of the prestige of the championship fights. He says, you have to fight and earn your way into those 5-minute fights, and when you're going to fight in those 5-minute fights, the preparation is completely different, and you're going to be in so much conditioning is so much more of a factor that he thought taking it and moving it elsewhere it kind of took away from that allure, and I have to agree with him.
I do too.
I don't understand why you'd want to do that.
I think he's just trying to get rid of the draws, and since he can't do anything about the judges because it's all commission, I think this is just one of the things that he's trying to do to get rid of the draws.
They should do what we're doing, getting rid of our commission.
Another interesting thing to kind of go with that is for an upcoming UFC, they got monitors. They got people approved to monitor the judges, so that the judges have judges.
Have judges?
Yeah, and I don't know exactly what they're there for, but they're. I don't know.
Fresh, yeah.
Something's got to be done about the judging. I'll grant you that, but I don't think making important fights 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I just think, first of all, it's going to be inconsistent. You're going to do it for one, and then not another, and people are going to wonder why.
Maybe they are going to do it for every.
But the thing is you're going to find a way to manipulate the system. So the more highly conditioned guys might have an advantage when you just give it to them, versus their opponent who isn't quite as conditioned, but he's a real tough guy. You know what I mean? It gives you the levity to now try to give an advantage to one fighter over another. And I don't like that. It's got to be
certainly changes the playing field. There's no question about that.
It's got to be across the board, in my opinion, or you just don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with them doing it.
What else you got, Joe? You got to do real quick on that. We got to take a break. So,
Gray Maynard, Frankie Edgar, the rubber match between them two, or actually, the rematch between those two, they both got injured. It was for UFC 130. They both got injured. They're dropping out. It'll be Rampage versus Matt Hamill for the main event now, which I'm glad that I didn't. We were going to go to that fight, and I'm glad we didn't buy tickets because the main event, Rampage Matt Hamill, isn't that great.
Yeah.
So, Chris Lytle, he signed to fight Dan Hardy.
Why does that name sound so familiar?
We just talked to him last week. We were asking about what he's doing next, and he just signed to fight Dan Hardy on UFC on Versus 5, August 14th.
And he actually kind of alluded that was something he thought he might be able to get. So
and we were talking about it possibly happening in England. So
they just barely signed
he'll be
on
here
Wednesday.
in Milwaukee. So
my understanding is you come on this show and stuff happens for you.
That's right.
And it's been happening on a regular basis.
We
you
make
watch.
things
I'm going to tell you that Jeff Monson will eventually be president of the United States.
And then one more thing, real quick. We talked last week about tweeting too, and then just recently about tweeting.
We talked about something else this week.
Nobody knows.
But that's the past tense.
So, Dana White, they had their fighter summit, which is like a meeting of all the fighters and tell them what's happening, what they need to do, and this and that. And he's giving bonuses to fighters who get the most followers over certain the quarter, best tweets, most creative tweets,
okay.
and it's going to equal up to $240,000 over a year of bonuses.
You know how much free? Well, you know how much free advertising? Well, $240,000 is not free, but he's going to get so much residual benefit from that.
Well, yeah, and it's to the point where other NFL, NBA. They don't like it. They don't want their people.
Well, yeah, they get fined if they tweet in the middle of a game.
Well, I don't think you should be
know?
tweeting during a game.
Yeah, but of course. But
if you're not focused on the game, there's a problem. You wouldn't see Jeff Monson tweeting during a fight.
No.
Well, he might be tweeting before his fight.
He can before.
So, but
just turning your fighters into marketers.
Every quarter they're going to give.
It's brilliant in terms of what the benefit they're going to give.
Don't you think that's kind of a lot to be giving out though? $240,000
but
a year.
It's $5,000 for.
If you think about what advertising costs, it's really not
that much.
They have something.
And not only are you reaching X amount of people, you're reaching X amount of qualified leads because they are people that are following and they're fans.
It is the demographic.
So it is a great investment. If you got extra money out there, invest.
You figure they have 500 fighters in their staff between Strikeforce and UFC, and
that's gonna be
they all have thousands of followers. That's a lot of people they're reaching.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, we're going to talk some more, a little more UFC when we come back. We're going to break down what's going down tonight at Club Vegas. The Ultimate Combat fights going on tonight, starting at 9:00 when we come back.